Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Woke Chicken. This is our new podcast where we're going to talk about conspiracies, science, whatever we feel like, really. So, today we're going to talk about the solar eclipse that's going to happen a week from tomorrow, or a week from today if you're watching this, I guess. On Monday is when we're planning to release.
It's
almost Monday when we're recording right now. Yeah. So, we're going to talk about the solar eclipse and all of the things that the governments around the world are planning on doing during that day. Cool? You ready? Okay, so Monday is the solar eclipse. It doesn't happen very often. The last one happened in 2017, and it was like a totally different trajectory. It was going across the U.S., and this one's going like up the U.S. So NASA on Monday is going to be launching 3 sounding rockets into the moon's shadow during the solar eclipse, and this is coming straight from the NASA website. So on April 8th, they're going to be sending off 3 sounding rockets. So if you don't know what a sounding rocket is, I looked it up. A sounding rocket is, or sometimes called a research rocket or a suborbital rocket, is an instrument-carrying rocket designed to take measurements and perform scientific experiments during its suborbital flight. So you were saying that there's going to be like 15 different ones?
And the guy I was listening to said there was going to be 4 different objects per rocket, of total 15 objects total, including the 3 rockets.
Oh, okay, yeah. Cool. So there's going to be so according to them, it says that they're going to launch from Virginia to study the disturbances in the ionosphere created when the moon eclipses the sun. The sounding rockets had been previously launched and successfully recovered from White Sands Test Facility in New Mexico during the October annual solar eclipse. They have been refurbished with new instrumentation and will be relaunched in April. So these are the same rockets that they used in October for the solar eclipse too. They're just reusing them.
Mm-hmm.
It says the sounding rockets will launch at 3 different times, 45 minutes before, during, and 45 minutes after the peak local eclipse. It said it's about 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 15 minutes, I think, total from start to finish. So depending on where you're at, it's going to be different start times. So these intervals are important to collect data on how the sun's sudden disappearance affects the ionosphere, creating disturbances that have the potential to interfere with our communications. So they've been looking a lot, like some of the videos that we watched were looking at where the 2017 and 2024 trajectories were crossing, like would be crossing. Like 2017 went across, and then where the 2024 would match that certain spot, like the X. What would that be called? The middle, you know?
The intersection?
Yeah, the intersection of where the two would have met if they went at the same time, you know?
Yeah, the trajectories.
And so that's like pretty much Missouri is like the center of that.
Jesus.
So, and a little off subject of that, there's been this like trend, I guess, post COVID that, so the center of that would be Missouri. And after the pandemic, a lot of Mormons have been moving to Missouri. Okay, so the trajectory of the 2017 and 2024, where they would cross, is in Missouri. Like the X of their path,
the
intersection is in Missouri. Like the majority of it is going to hit in Missouri. Like that's where the X is. So Missouri has a lot of significance, and I didn't realize this because Missouri is kind of like, you don't hear about it a lot, you know? But I was watching a couple TikToks, and then I looked it up a little, and Missouri... You fuckers, you killed Jason!
I'm telling you, fucking South Park, I'm sticking out of my brain right now.
Okay, so a lot of Mormons believe that South Park. Bro, look at what is this? Oh my!
See, you're thinking right too.
No, I'm like waiting. I'm trying to have
Makes for a better fucking podcast.
Oh my god. Okay, so a lot of people believe, a lot of Mormons believe that Missouri was
Jesus.
where Eden, the Garden of Eden, was. And so they also believe that that's where Jesus is going to come back. And after the pandemic happened, and there was like a lot of people mass buying toilet paper and all of the shutdown, people started moving back to Missouri because they believe that's where he's going to come. So that's kind of a side note, but it's interesting that there's a lot of stuff happening in Missouri. And
where are they shooting off the
rockets are going to be shot off in Virginia.
Mexico or
that was from
last one?
Yeah. So these are going to be shot off from Virginia. Okay, so it says blah blah blah.
Do they say what town specific everybody's or was moving to, or where?
In Missouri?
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't find that. We can look that up. But
and does it say specifically where in Missouri is the? Because I'm guessing at the. Oh no, that's just the intersection point. That's not the.
It doesn't really have a lot to do with anything. Mm-hmm. It's just something that like people keep showing where they're crossing, you know. And we happened to look at it earlier to see exactly where. And when I saw Missouri, I was like, hey, you know, Missouri has actually been talked lately about.
That's funny. But so my question is, I guess, do we know where it's gonna be the longest? That you're saying it's not.
Oh, okay. So, like,
it's not
where
the
you're going to be able to...
everywhere.
No.
Because of its trajectory.
Yeah, so they're sending off the sounding rockets into the ionosphere. So it says the ionosphere is a region of Earth's atmosphere that is between 55 to 310 miles above the ground. It's an electrified region that reflects and refracts radio signals. That's another thing. They're saying that everyone's going to be flocking to all these cities to watch the eclipse, and then all of the cell towers are going to go down, like, suddenly, because there's going to be a massive flux of people. And
shortage of food.
Yeah, so they're telling people in all of these mass areas with the most viewing time to go buy food, make sure you have like 2-3 weeks of food ready, make sure you're ready in case you can't get, you know, your groceries or the cell phones go down, the internet goes down. But that's, I don't know, that's kind of weird that it's going to shut down because, you know, there's places that get a lot of people and the phones don't go down just because there's a lot of people there, you know.
But they're going to blame it on the eclipse.
So they're going to say it, yeah.
Solar flares, EMPs, it's easy to say it was the eclipse's fault.
So they're doing a lot of stuff on the day of the eclipse, and if anything happens, it's the eclipse fault. It's the weird magnetic, you know, pull that's happening in the world right now. The energies are frequencies. It's not us. It says that's what they're testing. They're going to see the different frequencies and energies that are happening during the moon crossing over the sun. So it says they're going to be doing balloons too. So it says this team of students from the Embry-Riddle, which I'm not sure where that is, but will deploy a series of high altitude balloons. Co-investigators from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology's Haystack Observatory in Massachusetts and the Air Force Research Laboratory in New Mexico will operate a variety of ground-based radars taking measurements. So people all over the United States pretty much are going to be trying to measure what's going on during the eclipse. How does it affect our weather? How does it affect our energies? How does it affect the animals? How does it affect everything? So the next total solar eclipse is not going to happen in the United States until 2044. So 20 years from now. So this is the last time they can do this for 20 more years. So that's what NASA's doing. That's what they're telling us that they're doing. Who knows what else is added to that? There's a lot of significance, at least in the Mormon religion, as far as we know, for Missouri, and then this is like the trajectory for the 2 eclipses. So if you're in Missouri, like, you better watch out. Make sure you're watching out for all the Mormons moving there. The eclipse. Alright, so that is one thing happening during the eclipse. And then the next thing happening is CERN is going to test the world's most powerful particle accelerator during April's solar eclipse to search for invisible matter that secretly powers our universe. That sounds like a title out of a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So, if you don't know what CERN is, it is, here, let me look up the exact definition of CERN. So, CERN is the European Council for Nuclear Research. So it's CERN because it's French for Conseil Européen pour la Recherche Nucléaire, something like that. But it's a French, and it's right on the border of France and Geneva. So it's like this massive laboratory, bunker, like research center, all sorts of things. Huge place.
Hadron colliders.
Yeah, where they have all of these accelerators that pretty much they just experiment with whatever they want there. And when I was looking it up earlier, it said that they invented like the touch screen there, they invented the internet there. Pretty much anything, any sort of technology made after the 60s was probably
It started
some
in
sort
1958, is it? Or 1953?
53, something like that, yeah. I think that was when they started talking about it, but the actual center, I think it said 66 or something, is when that whole place was made. So the body was founded in 1952.
There you go, the body was founded.
Yeah, and then they, I think it said something.
And the actual facilities started later.
Yeah. Okay, so it was founded in 1954. So CERN started being built in 1954. And ever since then, they've been doing who knows what there. They tell us some of it, but one of their things too is to be very open to the public about everything we're doing, and we're going to tell you everything. But we all know how that goes. So CERN is going to basically be seeing if they can create a world, or not necessarily a world. They're going to see what happens when they bash two particles together.
They've been bashing particles together, I'm pretty sure. Photons.
So it says, the world's largest and most powerful particle accelerator is set to smash protons together on April 8th to search for invisible particles secretly powering our universe. Theories have suggested there are 17 different particle groups, and the European Organization for Nuclear Research, better known as CERN, confirmed the existence of one using its Large Hadron Collider, or LHC, in 2012.
So protons, not photons. I think I said photons.
Yeah. So
like
scientists.
This was telling you about that. Like it looks like that CERN thing.
Or ring light. It looks like the accelerator. And that's a small one too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like
Super
a bunch of different ones at this facility too. Like it's all, they test different things in each one, but there's a lot of them. It's not just like one accelerator.
But the biggest one is 17 miles long. 17-mile long tunnel.
300 feet under France. So that's the one that they're going to be using for this test on April 8th. And
what we heard, it was 7 miles less than the speed of light.
That's how fast it's going to be traveling.
Traveling before they collide.
Yeah. So scientists began preliminary tests by sending billions of protons around the LHC's ring of superconducting magnets to boost their energy and ensure the $4 billion machine was in working condition. So this one machine is $4 billion, and they had to test it. It didn't work. What did they send? The protons didn't make it all the way around. So then they had to redo it, and it said the second time they did it, it did make its way around. So now they know they can use it Monday.
So read that part. That's why they're smashing them.
Okay, the LHC works by smashing protons together to break them apart and discover the subatomic particles that exist inside them and how they interact. So basically, they're smashing them together to see what happens.
What comes out of
Yeah,
them.
like they don't know, so they're just gonna smash
It's like
them
a
together.
gusher. Let's squeeze it and see what comes out.
Yeah, and so yeah, they're like, I don't know, we're gonna do it during the eclipse because
whatever reason.
they don't say that either. I don't think, as much as I can see, there's no reason.
No correlation to it.
But they're gonna do it Monday. So it says CERN researchers use protons due to them being heavy particles. The weight allows much lower energy loss per turn through the accelerator than other particles like photon, which you said photon is too light. So on March 8th, teams from around the world came and they were waiting there for a glimpse at the beam circling inside the ring of the LHC. So I wonder what they see, if they just see like a light or...
I'm guessing.
Because it's going super almost fast. The speed of light. Yeah.
I mean, it does a bunch of spins around it, I think. I didn't say they're not just one spin. Mm-hmm. If you keep reading, it might say how many.
Yeah, and then here we go. The first attempt this month did not go as planned, as the beam only made it partially around, but this month's experiments proved the beam trajectory was off, and it did complete a full circle. After tinkering with the machines, the team watched in wonder as the beam circled the accelerator in less than 20 minutes. So that's 17 miles that it went around in less than 20 minutes. That's what it's saying.
But the speed of light is way faster than that. So
that's what I kind of didn't understand. But I think it's the amount of times
a second. Look.
So at full power, trillions of protons will race around the LHC accelerator ring 11,245 times a second.
So that sounds more like the
and
speed
travel
of light.
Just 7 miles per hour, less than the speed of light.
So 11,245 times a second around a 17-mile long tunnel. Is that what I'm assuming?
It says
from the LHC
race around the ring, and the ring is 17 miles around.
So 11,245 times.
So what is it? 20 minutes.
Second.
Beam circle this other was 20 minutes. I don't get that. We're missing something.
Well, the beam they sent might have not been
this test.
The trillions of protons that they're racing. I guess I don't know. I figured protons would always function the same, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the difference is, but anyways, it says on April 8th.
Power. Maybe it wasn't running full power.
Yeah. On April 8th, the team will send the beams through the tunnel where they will collide. The team will be on the hunt for dark matter, which makes up around 28% of our massive universe, but it has never been seen or proven. One of those things.
Looking for something that you don't know is there.
Yeah, so they're like, just trust us.
Mm-hmm.
We know what we're doing.
By moving at the speed of light.
We're scientists.
Fucking Flash over here.
That's probably what they base it on, because now that I look at these, like, it reminds me of the Flash. Like looking at like the way it's set up and stuff in the Flash show.
Well, I'm telling you, when they get those shows, they probably get some scientist that knows a little bit, or not a little bit, but is studied that sort of fucking science before, physics in this case, or quantum physics in this case. I'm sure they get like a scientist that's done at least a bachelor's degree or master's degree major in physics, astrophysics.
To work on the show, so
like,
that they're
what should we do
little accurate.
So it looks more realistic for people who actually know a little bit about science. Like I said, we're reading this and we're like, what the fuck? Because we're not scientists. So
dark matter, is that what,
we were talking about antimatter.
Antimatter, okay, and that's different than dark matter.
Guessing it's a little I think, I'm not too sure, but antimatter, they don't need to go discover it. This is talking about discovering something.
Yeah,
they already have antimatter. And if you can probably Google it, it tells you how many milligrams you need in order to equal a ton of AT&T. Or TNT, sorry, AT&T, always in my head. Get out of my head, AT&T.
Said it's like something tiny.
Yeah, really, in my
basically like something really tiny.
Yeah, like
a pin.
Like not even like not even recognize like microscopic
equal TNT.
TNT. Yeah,
that's wild.
I can't remember exactly, but I remember thinking it was ridiculously stupid, outrageous numbers, and thinking, how do they have such a accurate number for something that's not supposed to be tested that far yet? That they've only known about for so long and only have had for so long, and they have such accurate testing on it or accurate data. Where did they test it at? How do they know? Would they've been blown up with antimatter? I don't know. Like I said, just all sorts of random questions that.
So it says this work will give them insights into the formation of the universe and even its ultimate fate. So they're basically trying to like see if they can.
How the universe was created, or how the universe is, the fundamentals of the universe.
Yeah. So can we recreate it? Can we figure out what was there when we were created? Okay, so the total solar occurs when the moon completely blocks the face of the sun briefly, turning the outdoors dark during the daytime. The spectacle will be visible to an estimated 32 million people along a narrow path through North and Central America. The purpose of LHC is to let scientists test predictions of different particle physics, including measuring the properties of the Higgs boson or God particle, which was a missing piece in the jigsaw for physicists in trying to understand how the universe works. Scientists believe that a fraction of a second after the Big Bang that gave birth to the universe, an invisible energy field called the Higgs field formed. As particles passed through the field, they picked up mass, giving them size and shape and allowing them to form the atoms that make up you, everything around you, and everything in the universe. This was a theory proposed in 1964 by former grammar school boy Professor Higgs that has now been confirmed. And while the particles near instantly decayed during the LHC experiment, scientists found that they left a footprint behind, revealing their existence. So the LHC is typically used just 1 month each year, but has been shut down over long periods for upgrades. It was last turned off in 2022 amid Europe's energy crisis. That is what is happening on Monday. And there's probably other stuff too, because like every scientist that is studying anything is like, let's do it during the solar eclipse. So there's a lot of stuff happening that day. So just be aware. Maybe that's a good day to stay home from work.
Stay home and watch the solar eclipse.
Alright, so I didn't really know what CERN was when I started looking at all this stuff about the eclipse. So I've been doing research on CERN like all day and found this video that had 12 things you might not know about CERN or whatever, and I can link that in the description. Now that we have YouTube, I can link that. So I wrote down a couple of the things that I thought were interesting about it. One of the first things is CERN has a giant Shiva statue out front of their main headquarters. And if you don't know, it's a Hindu god of destruction. He is also known as the destroyer of worlds. And coming from a place that's trying to create like life,
Why would you have
a destroyer of worlds statue?
I don't think they're trying to create life. I think they're just trying to discover the fundamentals of creation itself. Either way, creation is not destruction.
Yeah, I guess not create life, but they're trying to figure out how we were created.
Not we,
or the world, yeah.
Not even the world. They think they kind of understand how the world was created.
Okay, the universe.
But the beginning of any existence, I think, is what they're trying to figure. How that works.
Yeah. And so they have a Shiva statue out front. And so this is from the CERN website. It says, on June 18th, CERN unveiled an unusual new landmark, a 2-meter tall statue of the Indian deity, how do you say that? It's like an idol, Lord Shiva. The Director General and Dr. Kakadkar watch as Mr. Chandraskar signs the guest book for everyone who came to welcome Shiva to CERN.
Hello, Shiva.
The statue is Igya from India, celebrating CERN's long association with India, which started in the 1960s, which is basically when they began, and continues strongly today. It was unveiled by the Director General, Dr. Robert Amar, His Excellency Mr. K.M. Chandraskar, Ambassador to Geneva, and Dr. Anil Kakadar, Chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission and Secretary, Department of Atomic Energy, India. So on their website it says, in the Hindu religion, this form of the dancing Lord Shiva is known as the Nataraj and symbolizes Shakti or life force. As a plaque alongside the statue explains, the belief is that Lord Shiva danced the universe into existence, motivates it, and will eventually extinguish it. Carl Sagan drew the metaphor between the cosmic dance of the Nataraj and the modern study of the cosmic dance of subatomic particles.
So it created the universe and is going to also extinguish the universe.
At a set time or whatever it feels like.
And CERN is aligned with that ideology. So
because CERN in Geneva also pretty much is like this hub for the world. Like, as far as I can find, they welcome all countries and
beliefs as well. So, but why are they?
I don't know about the beliefs, but they like everyone can use CERN pretty much. Like,
it's a worldwide research center. But my thing is, I understand that, but if somebody, I'm not a Satanist, and let's say I was having research facility and somebody makes me a statue of Satan, I'm not gonna willingly accept it and sign guest books and have ceremony for it.
This is the only statue in front of CERN.
I would kindly deny it. Sorry, it does not align with my ideology. But in this case, like I said, if you're putting it on your stuff, it most likely aligns with your ideology. So what this tells me is that CERN aligns with the ideology of what the Hindus believe of Lord Shiva.
Yeah.
That he's going to extinguish the universe at some point.
Yeah, and this isn't like on, in a building in front of like the main Indian campus or whatever. This is like in front of the main building.
At the CERN building.
CERN. Yeah. So just something I saw.
Not in India, not in any Hindu religious place. At CERN. So that's kind of strange.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird. So that's one of the things. What else did I find? Just the logo too.
The 666 logo.
I'll put the logo here. But the logo of CERN is like basically circles with like lines coming off of them, which the original creator said it looks like particle tracks when they're going, I guess, spinning really fast. It looks like that. But people have said that it looks like 666. So, like, there's 3 lines coming off of a circle.
There's more than 3 lines, but it does look like 3 distinguished 6s.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 distinguished 6s, maybe, but either way, 666.
But like another
out quite a bit.
Yeah, like 666 along with the Shiva statue is just it's kind of
coincidental stuff.
Coincidence. Like, is there coincidences though? This one is kind of, I'm still looking it up a little, but neutrinos, have you ever heard of that? Neutrinos pass through matter without being affected. They're very hard to detect. And then it made me kind of think of like other things that they can shoot you with, like frequencies, and like maybe they can attach something to neutrinos. This is all like me just thinking, about conspiracies. But it was just something that they had found with one of their experiments. They found neutrinos that are like can pass through matter, basically, just like so you can like walk through the wall, So it makes me think, like, can you harness that to make a suit where you can pass through a wall, or can you send signals into somebody and they feel something or think something.
I think they still
with
have it. I don't think they've developed that science to that level yet. I think that's probably a lot of what they're doing with all this stuff they get from CERN. Most likely is for, like you just said, oh, can we build a walk through the wall suit? Like that's probably why they're searching a lot of that, researching
sounds
a lot
like
of that stuff.
a movie, but a lot of this stuff is not fake. It's realistic.
It's not real yet.
It's not real yet, but it's neither was Wi-Fi at one point. So
smartphones, touchscreens. What they you said they invented them. They invented
touchscreens. There's probably a long list of things that were invented there that we use now, but
so like you just said, it wasn't a thing yet till now. It might not be been a possibility till they make it a possibility by messing with all these things.
Yeah, so it's just something notable that I saw in the video talking about CERN. Something that they found was something that can pass through matter, which is interesting. Then the last one that I found that for now that I thought was interesting was antimatter. So basically what antimatter is, it runs into matter and then they cancel each other out for the most part. Like
it's the opposite of matter.
So
the counter effect of matter.
Yeah, so it said like we found a small amount of antimatter and it could be used for helping with medical procedures in the future. It could be used for, helping with whatever. I forgot what else it said, but there were certain things that it listed, but then it also said it could be used as a weapon, but we're gonna
weaponized.
Yeah, like because it can basically take out whole areas and you'll never even know that they were there because it just poof, like destroys them.
And there's the same thing with the atomic bomb. When they were working on atomic with the atom, they weren't trying to build a weapon until they were. So we're not using antimatter we're not weaponizing antimatter until we do.
Yeah, so just like the pandemic when they're like, oh, this disease is locked up real tight until it's not. So the fact that they have antimatter that can just destroy, a whole city and you'll never even know it was there, it's kind of, don't really trust it. It's just a matter of time before it gets into the wrong hands. Well, I mean, it's already in the wrong hands.
It doesn't need to be in any hands.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be anywhere. And then, so on the CERN website too, it says the Big Bang should have created equal amounts of matter and antimatter. So why is there far more matter than antimatter in the universe? And then it says the World Wide Web was invented at CERN in 1989 by Tim Berners-Lee. The collider, the Higgs boson. So that's some of the things that CERN has been a part of. That's just some of the minor things. I'm sure there's like a million other things that they've done. But yeah, that's basically all we got, I think, right? What else did you want to talk about?
I've been trying to sleep.
I made him stay awake to make this podcast because I've been trying to make it forever. I was determined to have a first episode. Next time we will make it earlier in the day. We'll wake up early before the chaos of the day.
Instead of the end.
All right. Well, that is what is happening on Monday. So hope we taught you something through all of this mess of a video. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, then like the video, subscribe, follow us, do all those things. We have Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. We got all the things. So go follow us. And we will be back a little more organized next week with more topics of conversation.